I was 65 years old when I betrayed the woman who saved my life. And the worst part is, I'd do it again. Let me be clear about something from the start. I'm not here looking for forgiveness. I'm not here to make you understand. I'm here because what I did is eating me alive from the inside out. And maybe if I say it out loud, maybe if someone hears it, I can finally sleep through one single night without waking up drenched in sweat, his name on my lips. My name is Eleanor, and for 43 years I was married to a good man. Robert died 6 years ago. Heart attack. Quick, they said, like that was supposed to comfort me. One moment he was trimming the hedges in our backyard in Portland. The next he was gone. Our daughter Sarah was the one who found him. She's never quite been the same since. After Robert died, Sarah moved me into her house. Not a nursing home, not some assisted living facility. Her house, her beautiful colonial in the suburbs with the wraparound porch and the garden I helped her plant. She took me in without hesitation, rearranged her entire life, gave up the guest room that she'd been planning to turn into a home office. My son-in-law Michael supported the decision completely. They both did everything right. For 2 years, I was the grateful mother-in-law. I helped with the grandkids when they visited. I cooked dinners. I tried to make myself useful, tried not to be a burden. I went to bed early. I stayed out of their way during arguments. I was good. But grief does strange things to a person's body. It hollows you out in places you didn't know existed, and then it fills those spaces with something cold and desperate. I need you to understand. Michael was always kind to me. Always. From the day Sarah brought him home 20 years ago, he treated me with respect. He fixed things around my old house without being asked. He called me Mom. He was the son I never had, and I destroyed him anyway. It started so small I almost didn't notice. 6 months ago, Sarah got a promotion at work. Big one. The kind that means longer hours, more travel, more stress. She was thriving, but she was exhausted. Michael worked from home, some kind of consulting business I never fully understood, so he was there during the days. With me. The first time it happened, it was nothing. He brought me coffee in the morning, and our hands touched when I took the cup. That's it. Just skin on skin for half a second. But something in my chest lurched. Something I thought had died with Robert woke up and started clawing its way toward the surface. I should have recognized it for what it was. A warning. But I didn't. Or maybe I did. And I just didn't care. If you're still watching, you need to stay. Because what I'm about to tell you gets so much worse. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, because after this, you're going to need to come back and tell me if I'm the monster I think I am. The conversation started innocently enough. Michael would work at the kitchen table, and I'd sit nearby with a book. We'd talk about small things, the weather, the news, Sarah's promotion. But the talks got longer, more personal. He told me about his father, who'd been cold and distant. I told him about my mother, who'd never shown me affection. We found common ground in our wounds. One afternoon, Sarah called to say she'd be late again. Some client emergency. Michael ordered takeout, and we ate together at the dining room table. Just the two of us. He poured wine. I shouldn't have accepted the second glass, but I did. "You know what I appreciate about you, Eleanor?" he said, looking at me in a way that made my pulse quicken. "You actually listen. Sarah's so busy now, sometimes I feel like I'm talking to a wall." I knew I should defend my daughter. I knew I should change the subject. Instead, I reached across the table and squeezed his hand. "She loves you. She's just overwhelmed." "I know," he said. But he didn't pull his hand away. That night, lying in bed, I touched myself for the first time in 6 years. And I thought about him. The guilt came in waves. I'd wake up at 3 a.m, disgusted with myself. This was my daughter's husband. The father of my grandchildren. The man who'd been nothing but good to me. What kind of woman thinks these thoughts? What kind of mother? But by morning, when he'd bring me coffee again, that guilt would evaporate the moment he smiled. I started paying attention to things I shouldn't. The way his shirt stretched across his shoulders. The sound of his voice when he laughed. The fact that he and Sarah hadn't touched each other in weeks. I was watching for it now, keeping score like some kind of jealous teenager. I told myself it was harmless. a silly crush, a widow's desperate attempt to feel something other than grief. It would pass. Then came the afternoon that changed everything. Sarah was in Seattle for 3 days. Michael was stressed about a deadline. I offered to make dinner, his favorite, pot roast, the way I used to make it for Robert. We ate, we drank wine, we moved to the living room, and then I don't know who moved first, but suddenly I was closer to him on the couch than I should have been. My hand was on his knee. His hand was covering mine. "Eleanor," he said, and his voice was rough. "We can't." "I know," I whispered. But I didn't move. Neither did he. "Stay with me. I know this is uncomfortable. I know you're judging me. But I need you to understand how it happens. How a good person becomes someone they don't recognize. Drop a comment and tell me if you've ever felt something you knew was wrong but couldn't stop. Because I'm about to tell you exactly how far I fell." We didn't kiss that night. We sat there, hands touching, breathing too hard, until Michael finally stood up and went to his office. He didn't come out for hours. When he did, he wouldn't look at me. For 3 days, we avoided each other. He worked upstairs. I stayed in my room. When Sarah came home, she was so exhausted she went straight to bed, and the relief I felt was almost nauseating. Another day where she didn't know. Another day where I could pretend to be the woman she thought I was. But Michael and I had crossed a line. And now there was this thing between us, invisible and electric, humming in every room of that house. 2 weeks later, Sarah left for another trip. Overnight this time. One night. 24 hours. "I'll be fine," Michael told her at the door. "Your mom and I will hold down the fort." She kissed him goodbye. Barely. A peck on the cheek. Then she hugged me. "Thanks for being here, Mom. I don't know what I'd do without you." I watched her drive away, and I absolutely knew what was going to happen that night. I should have called someone, a friend, a therapist, a priest. I should have locked myself in my room. Instead, I took a shower. I put on a dress that actually fit. I dabbed perfume on my wrists for the first time in years. By 8 o'clock, we were sitting at opposite ends of the couch, a full cushion between us, watching some movie neither of us cared about. The tension was suffocating. "Eleanor," Michael said during a commercial break, "I need to say something." "Don't." I couldn't look at him. "I have to. Whatever this is, it's wrong. You're Sarah's mother. You live here. I can't. We can't." "I know," I said. And then, "God help me," I said. "But do you feel it too?" The silence stretched out so long I thought he wouldn't answer. When he finally did, his voice was barely above a whisper. "Every single day." I turned to look at him then. Really look at him. And I saw my own guilt, my own desire, my own self-destruction reflected back at me. He kissed me first. Or maybe I kissed him. It doesn't matter. What matters is that I kissed him back. If you're still here, if you haven't clicked away in disgust, I need you to know it gets worse. So much worse. Subscribe if you haven't, because the next part is where everything fell apart. And I mean everything. We didn't sleep together that night. We came close. So close I could feel the heat of his skin through his shirt. Close enough that when Sarah called to say goodnight, we were tangled together on the couch and had to scramble apart like guilty teenagers. Michael answered the phone with his voice shaking. "Hey, honey. Yeah, everything's fine. Your mom and I just finished dinner." I could hear Sarah's voice on the other end, bright and trusting. "Tell Mom I love her. I'll be home tomorrow afternoon." "I will," he said. And then, looking straight at me, "I love you too." When he hung up, we sat in silence for a long time. Then Michael stood up and went to his room without another word. I stayed on that couch until morning, watching the sunrise through the window, wondering what the hell I'd become. But here's the thing about crossing lines. Once you've crossed the first one, the second one is easier, and the third, and the fourth. Over the next month, whenever Sarah traveled, Michael and I would find ourselves in the same room. "Just talking," he'd say, "just keeping each other company." But we'd sit closer each time, touch more often. The conversations would get deeper, more intimate. He told me things about his marriage I knew I shouldn't hear. I told him things about my loneliness I'd never admitted to anyone. And then, 3 weeks ago, on a Wednesday afternoon while Sarah was showing a house across town, it happened. I won't give you details. I won't disrespect what little dignity I have left. But yes, we slept together. In the guest room down the hall from the bedroom he shared with my daughter. Afterward, lying there next to him, I waited for the guilt to crush me. But instead, I felt alive. More alive than I'd felt in a decade. My skin was electric. My heart was pounding. I felt like a woman again instead of just a widow, just a mother, just someone waiting to die. "We can't do this again," Michael said, staring at the ceiling. "I know," I replied. "We did it again 4 days later. You need to stay with me now, because someone found out. And when they did, it didn't just destroy my relationship with Sarah. It destroyed everything. Comment below if you've ever kept a secret that you knew would detonate your entire life, because mine is about to explode." For 2 months, Michael and I carried on this secret. We were careful, paranoid even. Only when Sarah was gone, only behind locked doors. We deleted messages. We never talked about it when she was home. We pretended, and we were good at it. Sarah noticed I seemed happier. "You're glowing, Mom," she said one morning. "I'm so glad you're feeling better." I smiled and told her I was just grateful to be here with her. The lie tasted like poison, but I swallowed it down. Michael started pulling away from Sarah in small ways. He was distant, distracted. She noticed that too, but she was so busy with work that she'd just sigh and say, "We need to plan a date night soon." They never did. I told myself I was giving Michael something Sarah couldn't: attention, understanding, presence. I told myself a lot of lies during those 2 months. The truth is, I was a 65-year-old woman having an affair with her son-in-law, and somewhere deep down, I knew exactly how this would end. It ended on a Tuesday. Sarah came home early from work. Some meeting had been canceled. She called out from the front door. "Anybody home?" Michael and I were in the guest room. Clothed, thank God, but his arms were around me and my head was on his chest and we were on the bed. Just lying there. Just being together. We heard her voice and froze. Michael's eyes went wide with panic. "Get up," he whispered. "I'll go talk to her. You wait here." But Sarah's footsteps were already coming up the stairs. "Michael? Mom." There was nowhere to go. No excuse that would make sense. Michael was standing in the middle of the guest room in his undershirt and jeans at 2 p.m, and I was sitting on the bed with my hair messed up and my shoes off. Sarah appeared in the doorway. For a moment, she just stood there, looking between us, trying to make sense of what she was seeing, her brain working through the impossible math. "Mom?" she said. "What's going on?" Michael opened his mouth, but nothing came out. "We were just talking," I said, the worst lie of my life. Sarah's face changed. It was like watching a mask crack and fall away. Underneath was something raw and terrible. "You were just talking," she repeated slowly, in the guest room, on the bed, with the door closed. "Sarah," Michael started. "How long?" She was looking at me now, only at me. Her eyes were filling with tears, but her voice was steady, cold. "How long has this been going on?" This is the part where I should have told the truth, confessed everything, begged for forgiveness. But I was a coward. I'm still a coward. "There's nothing going on," I said. Sarah laughed. Actually laughed. It was the worst sound I've ever heard. "You're in my house," she said, her voice rising. "You're living in my house. I took you in. I gave up my privacy, my space, my life. I put my life on hold for you. And you—" She couldn't finish. She turned to Michael. "Tell me nothing happened. Tell me right now." Michael looked at me, then at her. I watched him make a choice in real time. "Nothing happened," he said. But Sarah knew. She knew the way women always know. "Stay with me. I know you want to click away. I know this is ugly. But you need to hear what happened next." Subscribe and comment, because this isn't over. What Sarah did next changed everything. Again, Sarah didn't yell. She didn't scream. She went completely silent. She walked downstairs, picked up her car keys, and left. Just left. Didn't say where she was going or when she'd be back. Michael tried calling her 20 times in the first hour. She didn't answer. "What do we do?" I asked him. "We?" He looked at me like he was seeing me for the first time. "There is no we, Eleanor. There never was." "But you said—" "I don't care what I said. My marriage is over. Do you understand that? Sarah will never forgive this. Never." "Then tell her the truth," I said. "Tell her it wasn't just me. Tell her you wanted this too." "I don't want anything," he shouted. "I wanted to be there for you. I wanted to help you through your grief. And somehow that turned into this." He was rewriting history, making himself the victim, making me the predator. Maybe he was right. Sarah came back 3 hours later. She'd been to her brother's house, my son David, who lives 40 minutes away. She'd told him everything. Well, everything she suspected. When she walked through the door, David was with her. My son stood in the living room and looked at me with an expression I'd never seen before. Disgust mixed with disappointment mixed with something close to hatred. "Tell me she's wrong," he said. "Tell me you didn't sleep with Sarah's husband." I wanted to lie. The lie was right there, ready to come out. But looking at both of my children, seeing what I'd done reflected in their faces, I couldn't. "I'm sorry," I whispered. Sarah made a sound like she'd been punched. David had to grab her arm to keep her upright. "Get out!" Sarah said. "Get out of my house right now." "Sarah, please, get out!" I'd never heard her scream like that. Not once in 42 years. I packed a bag, just the essentials. Sarah stood in the hallway watching me, arms crossed, face wet with tears. Michael was nowhere to be seen. Hiding in his office, probably. David waited by the front door like a security guard. When I came downstairs with my suitcase, Sarah spoke one more time. "I will never forgive you for this. Never. You're not my mother anymore. Do you understand me? You're nothing to me now." I wanted to argue, to explain, to make her understand that loneliness can make you do terrible things. That grief can turn you into someone you don't recognize. That I never meant to hurt her. But what difference would it make? I did hurt her, intentionally, repeatedly. For 2 months, I chose my own selfish needs over my daughter's well-being. David drove me to a motel, didn't speak to me the entire ride. When we got there, he finally looked at me. "I'm helping you find an apartment," he said. "But after that, I need some space. I can't look at you right now, Mom. I just can't." That was 3 weeks ago. I'm living in a 1-bedroom apartment in a part of Portland I don't recognize. David helped me move my stuff from storage and set up the basics, then stopped returning my calls. Sarah blocked my number. Michael hasn't contacted me once. I heard through a mutual friend that Sarah and Michael are in marriage counseling. I don't know if they'll make it. I don't know if I should hope they do or hope they don't. The worst part isn't the isolation. It isn't losing my home or my dignity. It's that late at night, when I'm alone in this apartment, I still think about him. I still remember what it felt like to be wanted, to be touched, to feel alive, and I hate myself for it. But here's what I need you to understand. Here's why I'm telling you this story. I'm 65 years old. I've been a widow, a mother, a grandmother. I've lived a good life by most standards. And I threw it all away for 2 months of feeling like someone saw me as more than just a role I was supposed to play. Was it worth it? No. God, no. I've lost my daughter, maybe permanently. I've damaged my son. I've destroyed a marriage. I've become the villain in my own family's story. But would I take it back if I could? Would I go back to that first moment when Michael's hand covered mine and choose differently? I don't know. And that's what scares me most. If you made it this far, I need you to do something for me. Leave a comment. Tell me if you think people can come back from something like this. Tell me if I'm beyond forgiveness. Tell me if you've ever made a choice that destroyed everything and wondered if you'd make the same choice again. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm looking for truth. Because I'm 65 years old, I crossed a line I swore was dead, and I'm still not sure if I'm more sorry for what I did or for getting caught. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this if you think someone needs to hear it. And come back next week because there's more to this story. Sarah reached out yesterday. Just one message. Just 3 words. We need to talk. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's forgiveness or final closure, but I'm going to find out. And when I do, I'll tell you what happens next. Until then, I'm Eleanor, and I'm learning to live with being the person I never thought I'd become.